Okay, we just activated the session. It's Mike Michalowicz here, and I can see people are joining in right now. So welcome. We'll be starting in about a minute or two. So as you join in, hey, I just want to make sure you can hear me because I'm talking. I can't confirm that. Why don't you share in the chat where you're from? Tell me what the weather's like where you're at. I'm in New Jersey, and it's 55 degrees. That's actually pretty comfortable. You can walk outside in a t-shirt if you wish before the winter comes. So if you can hear me, just post it in the chat. I want to know where you're from, what the weather's like where you're at. And just to make sure we're all on the same page, we're going to be talking about the strategy we use at Profit First Professionals for accountants, bookkeepers, and coaches to grow their practice. And want to share those strategies with you. And also we'll invite you to consider Profit First Professionals membership. If you want, this is the last time we're offering it this year. And there's no, I have no other dates for 2020. All right, I see Craig, you're in Nashville. There's a lot more people on the line. So if you're willing, I'd love to know, I'm sure you can hear me. Just post out where you're based and what the weather's like right now. And we'll start in about 1 minute. Just put in the chat. We're not going to be using the Q&A platform. So just post in the chat. All right. Oh, hey, Kay, you're in New Zealand. Yeah, summer's coming, right? While we enter the winter here, I know a beautiful summer. Right, we got Bruce in Edmonton, Samze in Burnaby, British Columbia. I see Hanover, Pennsylvania. All right, you're right near me. Oh, 9 degrees. That's Celsius, right? So that's not too bad. Quick translation, that is 32, 18. That's about 50s, almost 60s. That's not too bad. Kay, thanks for listening to the podcast. Atlanta, you always had the nice weather, sunny and 62. California, 64. Great. All right, everyone, thanks. Oh, Greece from Peru. Hello, how are you? Thank you for joining us. Bienvenidos. It's 30 degrees Celsius. Kina, that's a little bit hot. That's a little bit hot. So my name is Mike Michalowicz. I am the author. You can see I actually have my books right behind me of Profit First, along with some other books, Clockwork and so forth. And I co-founded Profit First Professionals about 5 years ago with a fellow named Ron Saharian. And the reason we started this business was there was a very clear need in the entrepreneurial community, in the business owner community, that you as an accountant, bookkeeper, or coach have a tremendous opportunity to serve. And what it was when I wrote the book, I got the first email probably within a few days of sending out the manuscript. So before it goes to print, you send out a manuscript. And one of the manuscript readers said, hey, Mike, I love the system. Who's the accountant and bookkeeper that support this? And I said, well, what do you mean? They said, well, I want to make sure that my accountant understands how to do this system on top of the traditional accounting they're doing. And same thing with my bookkeeper, and same thing with a business coach. And that was an epiphany that we needed to have a certification for accountants, bookkeepers, and coaches to deliver the Profit First methodology. And that was the inception of Profit First. I'm happy to say today our organization has over 400 members internationally. So we're based out of the US. I'm at our offices right now in New Jersey. We also have an office in Melbourne, Australia. We have an office in Amersfoort, Netherlands, and we're opening an office in München, Germany right now to support the needs of the entrepreneurial community. One thing I want to be importantly clear about is that Profit First is not an accounting system. It's a behavioral cash management system that I designed specifically to work with entrepreneurs. And I'm going to share a strategy that you can use. I don't use PowerPoints, but I'm going to do it on this piece of paper here that you can use to grow your business, dramatically increase revenues and profitability by following this system. And again, like I said, I'll invite you to consider Profit First Professional membership. But what I'm about to share with you is independent if you decide to join us or not. I hope you do, but only if it's a win-win, only if it's a fit for you. But no matter what, I want to make sure you leave here with some content that's highly executable. There was a study conducted by the SBA, it's a Small Business Administration here in the U.S., a global study. 28 million small businesses in the U.S. Small business is defined by a company that does $25 million in annual revenue or less. That's absolutely my company. I suspect it's the vast majority of us listening in right now. The study went on to be global. There's 180 million small businesses doing under $25 million in annual revenue. What they found in this study is that 83% of small businesses are in check-to-check survival. They have serious cash management issues. They don't have enough profitability or cash to pay rent, to pay salaries, let alone the owner pay themselves unless they have substantial sales immediately. So many businesses are in this hand-to-mouth kind of survival where they are looking to sell desperately just to sustain the business. Well, Profit First is designed to address that. And it's based upon this principle. I actually documented in another one of my books called The Pumpkin Plan, based upon a Venn diagram. So this is, like I said, this is going to be my whiteboard instead of using a PowerPoint. But I want to draw what a Venn diagram is. Perhaps you're familiar with it. It looks something like that. A Venn diagram is the intersection of three elements. And in this case, we're trying to target the center. As long as we nail all three of these elements, we'll have the most potential for success in increasing our revenue and increasing your profitability substantially. So let's go into the elements here. The first one is uniqueness. And one thing before I go into the detail, I didn't share with you, we are targeting about 45 minutes. So if you could just turn off your cell phones and any distractions for 45 minutes, I want to make sure that you get the most out of this content and get off the email. Let's nail this content down for you because I think it's going to help substantially. The first part is your uniqueness. What makes your business truly distinct and unique in the market? How are you different? I'd actually argue that being better than the competition is not being better. Better is not better. Different is better. And listen, I've presented now potentially 1,000 keynotes, maybe more, over the last 10 years and or longer. And when I do a keynote, I often survey the audience and say, who here in this room is better than the competition? Almost every hand goes up, which to me is shocking. Every hand should go flying up, but almost every hand goes up. And what I say is, if I had your competitors in here and asked them the identical question, the response would be identical. Everyone is better in some way than someone else. But the client, the end customer can't really see that. If I have a bookkeeping practice and I answer the phone on 2 rings and you answer the phone on 1 ring, you are technically better. But does the customer really notice that? And the answer is no, unless if you're substantially better, or if you're substantially unique and different. And that's the goal here. What makes you distinct in the market? How are you doing something that no one else does? Just as a story, I'm sure everyone listening is very familiar with Apple, so they're a great case study. Apple made the, let me grab this one sample of the phone, but they made the iPhone, as you know. Steve Jobs made a declaration when he was with Apple to say that Apple saw the new opportunity in computing technology to be on smartphones as opposed to PCs. Basically, IBM and Apple had saturated the market. BlackBerry, with their device, was one of the predominant providers. By the way, if you've ever had a BlackBerry, I'm just curious, just post that one in the chat. Say, yes, former BlackBerry owner. I was too, the Crackberry, we called it. And the BlackBerry, there's one right there. The BlackBerry had all those buttons. Now, let me grab this other phone. Excuse me. Yep. So I see Gail, you have one too. Tina, I was a Crackberry guy too. Apple, if they did the mentality of being better, they would sought ways to make more buttons, right? Because the BlackBerry had a full QWERTY keyboard. And you'll remember phones like this. There was these innovations where the phone would have a keyboard hidden behind it. Remember these phones? The idea was to compete with BlackBerry by introducing more buttons. Well, that's the better is better mentality. Apple, Steve Jobs says, no, we're going to be different. And they were the first company to embed only one button. They removed buttons. They embedded one button in the bottom screen. This is a newer Apple. There's no buttons anymore. And I know Android and all the clones have done the same. But Apple was the innovator here. By being unique and different, they said the market has buttons. We're going to remove buttons. And as a result, they were the first company to blend technology with art. And Apple now dominates it. And if you have an Apple now, formerly. So just say it now. So Lorette, formerly BlackBerry. If you own an Apple iPhone, say yes. Yeah. So Keen, I see you do too. I do. Gail does. I too own an iPhone now. iPhone is one of the dominant providers. Now, of course, there's the Android market too, but iPhone has become a dominant provider. Andrew Yepers, I like that. And BlackBerry is basically off the face of the planet. It's rarity. Maybe one or two people on this webinar have a BlackBerry, but they've basically been wiped out. You have the same opportunity in your market. How are you unique and different? Now, as I was studying with my partner, Ron, so we're studying the accounting, bookkeeping, and coaching market. We call it the ABC Collective. That we saw the greatest opportunity is to be consultative. The market has become saturated in this betterment mentality. How are we going to give even better tax work? How are we going to do better AR and AP and managing the chart of accounts and so forth? How are we going to do better at this stuff? The advancements, particularly in artificial intelligence, I don't know if anyone's at QuickBooks Connect recently. They're talking about it there. They talk about it at all different platforms, at all different conferences. All the manufacturers are talking about how they're making their software more and more efficient using artificial intelligence, which is replacing what traditional accounting and bookkeeping does. To do accounting and bookkeeping better in the traditional sense is becoming more and more difficult to distinguish yourself that way because the technology is doing it so effectively. Some futurists are saying we're about 5 years out from accounting and bookkeeping in the traditional sense being wiped off the planet. Well, this springs an opportunity. We can be unique. And the unique opportunity we've identified is a consultative model. That study I shared about the SBA, 83% of small businesses are in check-to-check survival. 83%. That is a massive need. We're talking in the US alone, upwards of 20 million businesses or over seeking profit direction because they're surviving check by check. Of the international market, 180 million small businesses. There is 100 plus million companies, 130, 140 million companies who are looking for profit, and they need someone to consult them through this. They can't get it. They can't do it. So what we've done with Profit First Professionals here, so we talked about Apple, but what we've done with Profit First Professionals, the label we use is PFP, is we established a uniqueness that speaks to the 83% of businesses that are in check-to-check survival. So the opportunity here, I drew it out here. PFPs, 83% of the market is in check-to-check survival. The uniqueness is profit consulting. So strategy number one here, tip number one, is there's an opportunity, a massive opportunity to become a profit consultant. In fact, one thing our Profit First Professionals do that I want you to consider is they call themselves profit consultants. In fact, the term we use is profit advisors. And look at that. When you go to a client or prospect and you say you're a bookkeeper, the prospect in their head is saying, well, all bookkeepers are the same. For us to communicate effectively, if I say something like a circus, just by saying that word, pictures likely pop in your mind of an elephant, of tents, clowns. Those pop in your mind, so I don't have to explain it over time. It's just the basis of human communication. The trap, of course, is if I say I'm a circus, the customer always sees the same pictures in their own mind, and now they say, well, hold on, I'm a different circus. So what we want to do is we often try to change the label. In circuses, one of the greatest circuses of modern times and use the strategy extremely well is Cirque du Soleil. Cirque du Soleil did not say we're the sun circus. If you speak French, that's what it stands for, the sun circus or circus of the sun. They didn't say that they're the sun circus. They said they're Cirque du Soleil. And they introduced a new terminology to customers, and customers were willing to see Cirque du Soleil as something radically different than circuses. It's different. I'd argue it's not radically different. I've done the background research, same infrastructure, same performers, same show effectively, but they ramp up the acrobatics, they dump down or remove the animals, and they go to a main stage. They use a different label. What I'm encouraging you to is to use a different label. Become a profit advisor, a Profit First Professional. By being a profit advisor and using that terminology, then you can say, listen, I introduce and provide all the accounting and bookkeeping services that are out there, but I'm a profit advisor. I have the specialized tools, maybe even a certification if you became a Profit First Professional, or the tools and certification to differentiate myself by driving your profitability. Oh, and I back it with extraordinary accounting, like you should expect from any accountant or any bookkeeper. Because remember, the customer sees all accountants, bookkeepers, any generic labels the same. You have to introduce a uniqueness and put a unique label to it. Nice thing is, most businesses are surviving check by check. They need a profit advisor to resolve that. So step one, become a profit advisor. Here's step two that you can do in your business, and you need to do. You need to identify a unique community that needs that specialized offering. So you have a specialized offering, and it doesn't have to be profit consulting, by the way. Maybe there's something else that appeals to you, but whatever it is, it must also be very compelling to a top client community. Now, we already talked about this. 83% of small businesses are in need of this unique offering of profit advisement to break out of the check-by-check survival. So you have 83% of the customer base there. So we're saying I think it's over 120 million plus businesses, that's the 83%, are looking for this. So 120 million businesses are looking for this. If we go back to the Apple example, you may remember this. When Apple broke out with their initial products, they didn't just say, hey, we made something for everybody. They were blending technology to art. They were doing it with their Apple computers, Apple IIe, the Apple Lisa, you may remember those products. And they introduced it mostly to the educational markets and marketing agencies, people that put value in something beyond just data entry and data manipulation. They put value into that perception of art, design. Apple spoke to that community, grew in there, and grew explosively. Our Profit First professionals have a massive pool over here, massive pool of 120 plus million customers who are looking for this. And then we go through a process I documented called Surge. And maybe you want to pick up the book if you so desire. Surge is how you identify the narrow market that you're going to cater to so that you catch the momentum as that market's needs surge on. Now, our Profit First professional members, they get coaching from myself. We have an online portal where I'm teaching the surge process so they can capture market momentum. The lesson for you to take away from this is this. Once you're serving a unique offering that differentiates you in the market, you have to have a community that wants to resonates with that and wants to buy it, and speak into that community. Serve into that community, it builds a massive bond. Now, there's a third element, and it's systems. And here's what I mean by systems. If your business can deliver its services, attracting prospects, delivering its services and products to your clientele, have those clientele raving about the experience, paying you obviously for the services you provide, and maybe even referring you to the people in their network, all while you're sleeping. And that's the key. If that all can happen in your absence, that's a business that has achieved pure systemization. Most businesses, the owner is the one carrying the business on their back. In New York City, near Avenue of America's, the famous Christmas tree, there's an exhibit called Atlas, and he's carrying the world on his back. That reminds me of so many business owners that we feel this obligation, this necessity to carry the business on our back. And therefore, the only way the business can have growth is by us working harder. Well, when it comes to systems, what we've done with our Profit First professional membership, we've developed what we call done-for-you tools. The process of analyzing top clients, identifying where the profit opportunity is, and then giving them a rollout plan to deliver it and then enforcing it has all been automated. We call it the system PAT, or Profit Assessment Tool. It does that for you. The marketing materials, so you can differentiate yourself on your website and all that stuff, it's all been done for you. So all the systems have been developed, and our members plug it in. That's the key here. For your business to have scalability, for your business not to be dependent upon you, you must have systems in place. So what is your uniqueness? Who's the community that's buying that? And how are you delivering that on automatic without your active input? Those are the three elements we need to nail. Once you get those elements, now you've positioned your business for explosive, healthy growth. Sadly, many businesses only get one or two of these things. I'm going to give you the circumstances of just two. Some people on this call right now maybe have top clients that you're offering a unique offering to, but you don't have systems, meaning it can't run on automatic. That is called the TFM trap. And what TFM stands for is time for money. I kind of made it bold here so you can see it clearly, but it's right here, TFM. Top clients, you have a unique offering, but it's not systematized. The only way to carry that business, that's the Atlas syndrome, is that you're carrying the business on your back. For you to scale this business, you must work harder because there's no systems to deliver it. So you have to work harder, longer hours, and you can grow. But obviously, there's only a certain degree you can grow before you're exhausted. So that's a trap in the time for money trap. Now, there's some people that are on this call, maybe also have top clients and have your offering deliverable on automatic. So you have top clients and your deliverables on automatic, but you don't have a uniqueness about you. You're seen as a commodity in the market. I'm not saying you are by any stretch of imagination, but that's how customers see us. Oh, you're just another accountant. You're just another coach. You're just another bookkeeper. Well, then you experience what's called DPP, stands for downward price pressure. Top client demand, it's delivered on automatic, but it doesn't distinguish you in the market. Therefore, you're seen as a commodity. The only way to compete is to reduce your prices, because top clients will say, hey, you're not unique. I can get your type of services anywhere. Are you cheaper? So you feel that constant need to either reduce your price, or your customers are saying, can you be cheaper? They're trying to squeeze you, or you're constantly trying to find ways to justify because the customer doesn't see you as more valuable. So they're like, well, why you charge more? And you have to explain it. That means you're not perceived as a unique offering, and you have to explain your way through it. Now, there's a third situation, which hopefully isn't happening to anyone on here. And I don't even have an acronym for it, but this is where you have a unique offering. It's systematized, but there's no client demand for it. I started the word screwed. You're screwed here. If you can deliver a unique offering on automatic, but there's no demand for it, you're going out of business, right? So that's a no business situation, and we need to drive top client demand very quickly. So Profit First Professionals, as we developed the company, what we clearly discovered is there's massive demand, 180 million small businesses, 83% surviving check by check, that we needed a unique offering for this community, something that distinguishes us. That was the development of Profit First, a system that can drive profitability, and made it into, as I said, a system where it's automatic and the deliverables to the top client can be done on an automated basis. Once you do that, you position yourself for colossal growth. And put a little star or a little highlight in the middle. That's where we want to be. We want to hit all three of these elements. Now, of our 400 plus clients, we have a lot of case stories. There's case studies that come in. I'll give you a couple of my favorites of people that came in. My favorite, quite frankly, is Cindy Thomas. And Cindy joined us now 5 years ago, right when we were getting started. She was a bookkeeper for, I think, 3 to 4 years prior to that, and had finally grown her company to $25,000 in revenue. So she was a itty bitty company and struggling. She was not taking any money. She joined Profit First Professionals. In the last 5 years, she's now approaching $1 million in revenue. They just surpassed $800,000, and it looks like they're going to do $1 million this year. And the reason is she's not just a bookkeeper. She introduced a unique profit advisement tool, Profit First, distinguished herself in the market, and she can dictate a much higher premium for that. She still delivers bookkeeping. She's, with our help, identified a top community, which is the e-commerce market. Subsequently even released a book, Profit First for E-commerce Providers. We worked on that together, me and her. It's now systematized, and Cindy is taking 2 4-week vacations in the past year. Literally left her business for 4 weeks. Her and her husband celebrated out in Hawaii for 4 weeks, and they went on another vacation prior to that. And the business grew in their absence, using the tools that we reveal in Profit First Professionals. I also talk about my books like Clockwork. So one of the benefits, if you decide to become a Profit First Professional, I live to learn about business. This is my life's calling. And so I write books to do it, but I also teach our community on these processes. So you'll benefit in learning the knowledge that I glean. I'll reveal and share it with you. Another case of this, a great story, John Briggs. John Briggs joins us. He's an accounting practice. So Cindy was a bookkeeper, has an accounting practice, grows the practice by identifying a specific community with the unique offering. Unique offering is Profit First. He brings it into gyms, micro gyms, CrossFit gyms, systematizes it, wildly successful businesses. A lot of people that have joined Profit First Professionals have been around $100,000 in revenue or less. They are delivering their services, but are looking to scale in a unique way where there's big profit margin. The interesting thing in traditional ABC work, that profit margins are getting thinner because it is saturated and technology is coming in fast. By being a Profit First Professional, John, Cindy, these members have been able to distinguish themselves in the market, continue to deliver their core competency, but complement it with Profit First. Okay, so that's the basic of the system I want to share with you. I want to spend now about 15 minutes just explaining what Profit First Professional Membership's all about. And if you're interested, I'll invite you to join us. Now, this is the only time, the last time we're doing it this year. If Profit First Professionals is not a fit, we can put this off in the till next year and explore it in the fall or winter season of 2020. Maybe a great time, or maybe a couple of years out from now. So I don't want you to feel the sense of rush or obligation, but we do introduce members in classes. So let me explain about what Profit First Professional Membership is all about. What we do is we certify accountants, bookkeepers, and coaches in the Profit First methodology. The book I wrote is the base core function. This is what entrepreneurs get turned on to. We have what we call Profit University, which is our online program. We'll come on and get trained on the advanced implications of Profit First and how to implement it for your clients, how to service it and maintain it. We'll teach you processes on how to monetize it. So we have a whole pricing structure and strategy, how you can introduce Profit First rollout plans or profit plans, how you can do cost consulting and other stuff around Profit First. Now, Profit First, to be clear, is not an accounting system. It's a cash management system. I am not an accountant. I'm acutely aware, I'm an entrepreneur, acutely aware of what entrepreneurs and business owners need. And you may know this, a lot of bookkeepers and accountants get frustrated that their clientele, business owners, don't do the accounting. A lot of business owners don't know how to read the P&L, the balance statement. No way can they read the cash flow statement. They struggle with all these things. The entrepreneur typically reverts to what's called bank balance accounting. Log into my bank account, see what my balance is, and if I see there's money in there, I'll spend the money because I need equipment or whatever. If I don't have the money, now it's all about panic to sell our offering. Realizing that's how most entrepreneurs and business owners operate, I created the Profit First system to work with their natural behavioral path and to complement their accounting. So the accounting doesn't change. The Profit First system operates at their bank so they can see what money is available for what purposes before they spend a dime. So the money gets divided up there, and then they allocate money in advance to profit. They allocate money to paying the owner a salary, a reasonable salary. Many owners don't. They reserve money for tax liabilities, for the operations of the business, and so forth. And by doing this, you will elevate to a consultative level. You will be directing them on how to set these bank accounts, what kind of allocation percentages they should be doing, and then meeting with them usually on a quarterly basis to guide them to higher levels of profitability and efficiency. The beautiful thing is all that stuff is done for you in our Done For You tools. So I talked about PAT, our profit assessment tool. That's our pinnacle tool that evaluates a customer and even delivers a rollout plan of how to introduce Profit First to this client over time. And it doesn't require you to change anything about how you do accounting or bookkeeping. You will set up a couple more accounts in the chart of accounts as we set up a few bank accounts, but it's a minimal amount of additional accounts that get set up. And it actually brings even more efficiency, we found now from our 400 plus members, in managing books. So if you do reconciliations and stuff like that for your clients, it's actually easier because the money is divided up in a few accounts prior to being spent, so you know what the intended uses of a fund before it's spent. Is that owner buying lunch, for themselves, or is that an actual lunch meeting? And now the money will come out of different accounts, for example, in that one case. So you get the tools, the Done For You tools. You get the education through Profit University. You'll get video training from me. So there's on-demand video training, but also, and I think this makes us unique, we provide live training. So we have our guides here that will work with you one-on-one. And we have a live training on the East Coast here at our offices, on the West Coast also. So you can pick what's more convenient for you. But it's a live training with our team over 2 days to properly and fully implement Profit First. In fact, we require that every Profit First professional does Profit First in their own business. I mean, ultimately, if you want to teach something, we think you should be doing it yourself. I live by Profit First. And I think if I didn't, that would be a joke. So I've been doing it for 11 years myself. Our entire business here does it. Every business I own does it. And our Profit First professional members also do it. And last but not least is it's a massive differentiator. You can right now or later on today, you can go on Google and search for Profit First professional accountant, and you'll start seeing people popping up there. The vast minority of people that provide accounting services are Profit First professionals, which means you have a tremendous differentiator. You go into a prospect, you're likely one of the only prospects that there are vendors they're working with that is Profit First certified. A great way to differentiate yourself, and it caters to your biggest need. Oh, I forgot to tell you this. Entrepreneurs are searching for Profit First regularly. We get inbound here. Now we're averaging about 20 inquiries a day directly to our offices asking for a Profit First professional. And searches online probably are 2, 3, or maybe 4 times that. So upwards of 80 more searches are going on every day for someone looking in that moment to hire a Profit First professional. It is a great way, magnetic way to attract prospects and clients. Now, let me explain what membership is like and how to go about it. And I see a question, Andrew, came in, so I'll answer that. 2, And then I want to answer any questions you have. Here's what we're doing. So we used to just take calls with people that were inquiring. We get about 7 to 10 inquiries a day. That's with people just saying, hey, I want to become a Profit First professional, but I don't know anything about it. So our team here, we're tiny. There's 14 of us. Ron, or there's another Mike here. We're spending a lot of time on the phone for people that are just trying to learn. That's why we're doing these webinars, to teach you this. We've moved to an application process. So you must apply to become a Profit First professional. What you do is you put down a fully refundable deposit. This is a great way to separate out people that are serious and that we will serve versus people that are just trying to learn and explore around, but now's not the time. So let me put this up now because we're only accepting in, let's look at my notes up here, 4, 5. Yeah, 5 people today. So I'm just gonna put the link in here. Whoops, I sent the panelists, so you guys can't see that. That was an accident. So there's the link. If you want to click on that link, it'll bring you to the page. Here's how it works. If you're interested in pursuing Profit First professional membership, you must be offered a position, invited in once you do your deposit. So you process your deposit. You'll speak with Ron or one of our team members here. We will then explore and have a lot of questions for you to make sure you're qualified to deliver these services. And additionally, we want you to ask every question you have to make sure that we are meeting your objectives and will drive your goals. If there's a mutual fit, this applies to your membership. Now, membership in Profit First is $496. So that's actually $1 difference, $496 a month. And so that deposit would be applied to your membership. If you choose, or we choose, that it's not a fit, the money is refunded to you immediately and fully. Now, we have no contracts. You can become a member for a month, and if you find or two and you find it's not a fit, we'd be sad to lose you because maybe that means we're not doing something correctly, but you have the full right and ability to terminate the agreement at any certain single point. We will do everything to serve you because we know this process. We've walked hundreds and hundreds of accountants and bookkeepers to much higher levels of profitability for themselves, the whole new degree of consulting, and they remove themselves from that pending doom, if you will, of the rise of artificial intelligence. Listen, you know this, Mark. If you've ever driven Uber or Lyft, you've seen what happens to taxi cab drivers. The demand is shifting radically, and the taxi cab business is honestly going out of business. And that transition has now started and is starting to pick up more and more momentum in the ABC market as artificial intelligence expands. This is the Uber or the Lyft, if you will, of the market, is to be a consultant. And we've walked through it with so many different accountants and bookkeepers already that I am highly confident that this will excel for you. Now, one other component I want you to know about, there is a one-time mandatory training here at our offices. That the training, and you'll pay one time, is $3,000. I think there's actually an installment plan for it too. It's a 2-day live training. We walk you through the advanced process of Profit First. We get it all set up for you. We work with you through it. We get it all set up. Once you completed that, you are positioned to do some more online training, and then you go into our membership certification. There's a certification exam, and then you're a full-fledged member. So that's only necessarily it's necessary to do that one time, and that's it. And then you become a member. And once you kick off membership, that's when you pay your membership fee. So just to be really clear about this, if you're interested in becoming a Profit First professional, and it looks like two people already. I put my glasses on. 2 people already have registered, so thank you. So when you register, you put down your deposit. Next step is we'll have a call with you to answer all the questions you have and ask you a lot of questions to make sure you're qualified. We do retain the right. If it's not a fit this time, we'll tell you why, but we'll refund your deposit fully and then invite you to reconsider down the road. And likewise, if you feel we're not a fit for what you're looking to do, doesn't support your goals, then we refund the money immediately on the spot and we depart ways friends. If it's a mutual fit and we agree to proceed, then we will line you up for the class. And the class, again, is either here. We also have on the West Coast. It's in Corona, California, near LAX. In March, I think, is the next training out there. Then once you complete the training, then you enter membership and you can actively sell and promote Profit First. We give you the tools. We give you a pricing strategy. We give you all the marketing content, everything so that you can do Profit First successfully. Okay, that was what I wanted to share with you guys. I want to answer any questions that have come in. Why don't you post it? If you have a question, post it in the chat. And I see one here from Andrew Houston or Houston. Andrew says, I assume it's Houston. Mike, talking more, mentioned something today for BB members. Should I wait for the launch of this? Yeah, Andrew, if you want to be a profit consultant, Profit First Advisors or Profit First Professionals is the way to go. If you decide to become a member of Profit First Professionals, there's actually a benefit. We're introducing something down the road that is separate from this. It's with my new book, Fix This Next. So that would be a compliment, and it actually will be discounted. So hope that helps. Next question came in from Rose. Says, good morning. How much is your monthly fee charge? So the investment in Profit First Professionals is $496 a month. Now, look at your marketing alone. Like, I don't know what you spend on marketing time-wise. If you go to networking events and stuff, do you drum up 1-2 leads a month? I don't know. If you're actively marketing on Facebook or something like that, or you get 4 or 5 leads. Our typical members are approaching about 4 to 5 leads a week that they're generating through Profit First Professionals. So, and the leads vary, right? It could be someone that's kicking the cans, or it could be someone that's very serious. So not everyone converts to a customer, but it's taking 4 leads a week, that's 16 leads a month. Does that outpace the marketing you're doing? In many cases it does, because it's such a differentiator, and the cost point is comparatively extremely low for that alone. So it's $496 a month. When it comes to billing your customers, you can dictate a premium. It all depends, and we'll give you pricing structures, but a dictated premium for most members go up by about almost 100% on their pricing point. And it's not like you're taking advantage of customers. If you charge, say, $75 a customer, now you're moving to $150. Some of our members charge $250 an hour or hour equivalent because they're going to project-based offerings. Does not mean you're taking advantage of a customer. You're offering, and you've invested in something that extraordinarily impacts your customer. Now you can go to your customer and say, for every month you're in business, we're going to be driving profit by another X percent or thousands of dollars, and I'll be delivering it to you. What's that worth to you? That's a lot worth, in many cases, a lot more than saying your books are accurate this month again. That's necessary, but clients also want, they really need, is to drive profitability. And when you charge a premium, you're getting what you deserve for giving them the most important thing they need, which is profitability. So hopefully that answers that part of the question too. Let me put the link up one more time so you guys have it, and then let me answer the other questions. So go here now. And yep, we have another person that's registered or put that on deposit. So thank you. We're only accepting 5 deposits. So if you decide to put down your deposit and the notice comes up when you try to process it, it says membership full, I'm sorry. We are doing this on a first serve basis, and we won't be able to accept more members. We can't fit enough people in our class to do more than that, because we already have 27 people coming. So we can only fit in a few more people. And then let's just reconsider this next year. You will not be charged. So if you put in your credit card information, process it, and it says membership full, you will not be charged. And we can just revisit this in later 2020. All right. Next thing says, how long does it take to become fully certified? Great question. Most people take 3 to 6 months. We have a course that's available to you that you can expedite into 3 months. 6 months is the longest. What's necessary is the live training. That's key. You'll get the most value out of that. And then the ongoing training to make sure that you have your pricing plan in place, your marketing stuff in place, and there's a certification exam. Now, the certification exam, we also give you quizzes to get you prepared for it. You must pass it with an 85% efficiency. And once you pass that, then you get your certificate, you're certified, and you're certified into perpetuity until if you elect to no longer become a member. So your certification stands. Let's see, next question. I work mainly with entrepreneurs as a consultant specializing in strategy to tactical implementation. This is from Cheryl. My passion as an entrepreneur is in helping entrepreneurs. So what about pricing for entrepreneurs? It's affordable to them as well as lucrative to me. Yeah, so we'll work with you, Cheryl, on your pricing strategy. Hopefully, as I suggested earlier, that the price you determine also determines the perceived value of what you're offering. So as you increase your prices, the right customers will see the value you're providing just based on price point. If I gave you a piece of jewelry and said, here, it's $5 and it has, some diamonds, it's cubic zirconia. If I gave you the exact same piece and says $5,000, it's diamonds. So the price is a great way to immediately differentiate in our mind what the true intrinsic value is. So we'll guide you on that. We will always guide you to make sure that it's lucrative to your customers in that they're getting value, and it's lucrative to you in that you're driving profitability. That's key, and we'll guide you through that. On average, what do people pay for the service? It varies. I'll give you, this is from Gail. One classic example is we suggest you do a profit assessment, and you do a profit assessment report. Typically, on a small client that's doing sub $1 million in revenue, the assessment report is somewhere between $1,000 to $2,000. And your cumulative work time, once you get this down, because our tool does it, you just need to collect data, 2 hours, maybe 3 hours, because you'll collect the data, input it, the system prepares a report for you. You have to deliver the report. So you spend an hour and a half delivering a report, hour and a half collecting data. We've had members charge $10,000 to $20,000 for bigger clients, and now they got to spend maybe 6 or 7. I mean, it's a full day's work. But that, in my opinion, that's a freaking great day of work. But the report is so impactful because it analyzes the profitability trajectory for the client, what adjustments they need to make, and introduces the implementation of Profit First, which then you maintain on an ongoing service basis. So that's just the profit assessment. The profit consulting we suggest on a quarterly basis. We'll give you some guidance on what to dictate to. But again, that is a consulting model. So hopefully I gave you some guidance there. Does the Canadian market show just as much interest? Bruce, forgive me for asking. No, please, don't forgive for asking. We actually have so much interest in Canada. We're actually considering opening an office, maybe in Quebec City. I'm not sure where it's going to be. Maybe Montreal, more likely. So it's going to be in Quebec. I just toured Manitoba, Saskatchewan. I was in Regina. I was in Red Deer, all throughout Central Canada, Vancouver, Victoria Island, back to the East Coast of Canada, talking about Profit First because there's significant demand. The population of Canada is about 10% the size of the US. There's about 36 million, I believe, residents in Canada. So about 10% of the number of clients, prospectively, that the US has are in Canada. But our membership in Canada is about 10% of what's in the US. So they run very much in parallel. The opportunity in that case, all arguments, is just as strong in Canada, if not even stronger, because the Canadian market has some specialized needs, and Profit First does customize for all the countries we're in. Are professionals given a designated territory? Rena asks. No, we're not. Looks like we have another deposit, so we may be the limit. If you guys are interested, I think there's one spot left. We do not designate physical geographies or territory. We believe that's a model that's no longer as substantial or strong as industry specialization. In fact, many readers of Profit First will never come to our offices here. They're not based out of New Jersey, yet they'll contact our offices saying, I want someone that specializes in manufacturing, or someone can help me with my equestrian business, or someone that can help me with my vineyards, dentist, or whatever. We have hundreds of different industries we worked on, if not 500 or 600, and we guide our members on how to become industry specialists. The beautiful thing is this does not make you cater to the geographic market, which can have highs and lows. So the economic changes, you're more resistant or resilient to that. And some of our members actually track international business. We've had a member attract a client from Russia who's looking to build a presence in the U.S. They're the U.S. representation, and now they have this great client out of Russia. So because they have an industry specialization. So no geographic specialization. Our organization is intentionally small, like 400 plus members internationally. Our members happen to geographically generally be spread out. It's rarely that we have more than like 2 in the same city, like New York City, but never, I'd argue, never focus on geography. I think that's a traditional mindset, and it worked for a while. We're transitioning to this new mindset, which is industry specialization, webinar, online type of communication, stuff like that. So just a little tip. Rose wants to confirm $3,000 is the class. So $3,000 is the one-time training you must go through, and then you take your certification. But you must be an active member. That's $495 a month. So I want you to budget accordingly, Rose, if this is something to consider. $3,000, and we offer it in installments too to be fiscally healthy for you. But it's a $3,000 class, one time, and that's it. And then $495, and that gets you the certification. $4.95 a month into perpetuity to stay an active member and represent Profit First. And you'll get all the new tools, the support from our organization, access to our annual event, ProfitCon, stuff like that. Does this work as a standalone consulting business, or should I be tied to bookkeeping? Yeah, so Karen, that's why I say ABCs, accountants, bookkeepers, and coaches. Coaches and consultants, this absolutely works for. 1/3 of our memberships are not bookkeepers or accountants. They are specifically coaches teaching the Profit First methodology. A lot of them elect to team up with accountants and bookkeepers, and vice versa. Bookkeepers, accountants, coaches, they form these, we call them triads, where they're supporting each other, where you need to have an accountant specializing in Profit First, a bookkeeper, and a coach, and they work complementary. 1/3 of our members are specifically and exclusively coaches. Okay, guys, let me see if I can answer a couple more questions. We got to go because we're at our time. Are professionals given a designated territory? So no, there's no designated territory. But like I said, due to how we're controlling membership and how we're suggesting and directing based upon the surge process, how to get niche specialization, it's very infrequent that you'll ever compete against another Profit First professional. It's very frequent that you'll be competing against generic competition and distinguish yourself. Kudos for your book. Yeah, so Jay Lieberman says Keller Williams is using it. Yeah, Keller Williams has adopted this in a great way. I've been traveling the country. There is a huge need for certified experts in Profit First for real estate agents. So if you're comfortable with that space, you want to coach that space with Profit First, we have a massive opportunity there. There's more demand than we can supply. Definitely encourage you to get certified. Is the client set up on your system to run books, or is the structure of current system and PFP lays into PAT? So when a client uses Profit First, the only tool they have is the book right there. It's the generic basic level. If they hire a Profit First professional, you get access to PAT and you get their numbers and you control PAT and do the deliverable for that. You would manage their books. You would manage all their reporting. Let me do one last question. We got to go. Where's the live training? Gail, the live training is on the East Coast in New Jersey, right outside Newark Airport. So that's an international airport, relatively inexpensive to fly in from most destinations compared to other destinations here. And we also do it in California, right outside of LAX. That's Los Angeles International Airport, in a city called Corona. So that's it. All right, guys, I got to go. Here's the link one last time. There is a spot left. So if you're interested, but let me depart ways by saying what I think is most important. I just thank you for your time. I hope, regardless if you decide to become a Profit First professional or not, that this model helps you, that you understand the importance of being unique and distinct in the market, because that's what customers are going to pay a premium for. We believe the opportunity is being a profit advisor, a Profit First professional. What can you do that's distinct in the market? Maybe profit advisement is not your gig. Maybe there's something else. Figure that out. Top client, is there extraordinary demand from healthy clients that can pay and desire this uniqueness, right? So 83% of small businesses are looking for profit and willing to pay a premium to a consultant that can drive that for them permanently. The last thing is then introduce systems to it. So do these three things. If you elect not to become a Profit First professional at this point, I just want to thank you for your time. Thanks for spending with me. And I am wishing you absolute tremendous success in your business. If you do elect to join us, simply click on that link. And I can't wait to start working with you. My final food for thought is this. I believe, in this case, instinct is wonderful. And if your gut is saying, I shouldn't do this, and you're trying to convince yourself, I would actually argue this is not the time to do it. We can revisit this a year or two from now. And we'll be around, so there's no rush. Conversely, if your instinct's saying, let's do this, but you're a little scared or fearful, that's called being a human being. I totally get that. I want to invite you in to work with us because we're going to guide you step by step to being wildly profitable and driving tremendous profits for your clients. All right, everyone. Thanks for joining today in the webinar. I hope you got tons of value. Now you can hop back on that email and do the other work you need to do. And welcoming everyone that's signed up. We'll be reaching out to you very shortly to line up our call. And again, that deposit is fully refundable. So if at any time you feel it's not a fit or we feel you're not a fit, we will refund it. If it is a fit and you feel it's a fit, let's bring profits to the world. All right. Thanks, everyone. The link is right there in the chat. Just go there. Thanks, guys. Thanks, y'all. Thanks, Andrew. Gail, Rena, I appreciate it. Thank you very much for joining today. Thanks, Bruce. Jay, appreciate it. Karen, thank you. Cheryl, thanks. Great question, too. Bruce, appreciate you. All right. See y'all later. I'm going to drop the connection now. Bye-bye.